In order to really set a vision for your career, I think you kind of have to know yourself. And that leads me to my second area of career advice, and that is to know yourself. This is probably the most challenging area, and frankly, how successful you become, I can tell you, is going to depend upon the second area of career advice. Because you will become, success is directly proportional to how well you know yourself. And there's a million points along that spectrum. You have to learn how to manage your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Embrace your flaws so you can work to improve. And this improvement process is really what's going to help you grow as a leader and as a person. But self-evaluation, in my opinion, is the key to true and lasting success in every area of life. A simple exercise that if you could really adopt this, like brushing your teeth at night, and you really could keep it up over the months and years, will pay great dividends for you in your career and your life, is to simply in the evenings take a few minutes to think over your day and reflect upon how you reacted to key individuals, situations, or events. And then ask yourself why you reacted that way. The first time you do that, maybe the second, 100th time you do it, you are not going to get any great epiphanies. But I promise you that over time, that process is simply reflecting on how you reacted to people and events and situations in the day, and then asking yourself why. Over the years, you'll gain tremendous insight into yourself and into others, and you'll start to begin to become an effective manager of people and large groups of people. But if you can't manage yourself, you can't manage others, and you certainly can't then lead them to achieve a vision. So again, I say your long-term success is going to be directly proportional to how well you know yourself. In my opinion, leadership requires a thoughtful, almost Zen-like approach. And frankly, I was very fortunate. You know, I remember giving a talk, and I was taken aback. I was giving a talk at the program to the class. Must have been somewhere 15, 18 years ago. And I was talking about the early, the things we were doing that were very unusual in the industry and cutting edge. And I remember Dr. Dornblaser, you know, in the question and answers said, how did you do this? How did you know this? How did you become this way? What happened? And I was taken aback, and I said, well, the program, you know, the program. And he kind of looked at me stumped. What do you mean the program did this? And as I was reflecting for this talk, I'd have to say that the program certainly gave me the intellectual orientation to the industry. But what I didn't know at the time, because I was taken aback by his question, is that what really allowed me to really become the administrator that I am started way back before I ever entered MHA school, you know, when I was 10 years old. And that is I was blessed to have a lifelong friendship with Father Daniel, who's a cloistered Trappist monk. And my own father, when I was 10, took me to retreat at his monastery. And Father Daniel and I, for some reason, made a very heartfelt connection. And then we communicated virtually every Sunday for the next 52 years until his recent passing at the age of 105. And he, you know, he really, when I think back, he was formulating me into being the administrator that I am today. And even though my dad stopped going eventually, when I had my driver's license, I'd go there myself. But Father Daniel was a part of every major decision in my life, personally, professionally, and he always stressed to me the supreme power of our minds, our thoughts, which are both our greatest assets, he'd say, and our greatest enemies. Father Daniel would say that our thoughts determine our attitudes and moods, and our attitudes and moods play into our decisions and the choices that we make and the actions that we take. And of course, our actions and choices throughout life ultimately determine how we end up. So basically, you might say, as a person thinks, so he or she becomes over time. And we all have positive and negative qualities. We all have ingrained beliefs and biases. That's really not the issue. The problem arises when we ignore these and we allow them to control our thoughts and actions without even thinking about it. We judge others based on our own biases and beliefs. Again, oftentimes not even being conscious of it. So learning more about yourself and being open to constructive criticism and advice as it comes your way really, I think, is the key to building on your weaknesses, or I should say improving your weaknesses and building on your strengths. But ignoring criticism, or I should say ignoring loving and constructive criticism, or avoiding difficult situations are going to put great limitations on your ultimate success in your career.